friends, welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. I am so glad you are all here for another fun Christmas video. So what do I normally say? With all that being said, let's get to crafting.
Okay, DIY number 1. So I have these 3 wood hanging signs from Dollar Tree. They are the smaller ones that are new, and I'm going to connect them together using my giant craft sticks, wood glue, and hot glue, and those craft sticks came from Walmart. Then I went ahead and filled in the holes with some spackling, and after that I am going to go over it with my Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to brush it all on and then wipe off any excess. Now I was going to do this for my last video, but I couldn't get it done in time, so I'm going to show it today. After that wax was dry, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster and a big chip brush from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to do, I'm going to brush it all on in the middle, and I'm going to have some rough edges, which I'm fine with. I'm not going to cover the whole sign here because I want some of that brown to be showing around the edge. So once I was done, I thought, okay, it's still a little thin, it's still a little too dark, so I went ahead and went over it again with a little bit more of my plaster just to fill in some of the dark areas. Then I took my antique wax once that paint was dry and a small chip brush, and I'm just going to go and do distressing all around the edge, just kind of covering the edges of the white or that plaster color, because I wanted the edge to look more like the distressed part of the wood. Hope that makes sense. Anyways, I'm going to do that all the way around my sign. And then when I was done, I took that brush and I'm going over where the creases are, or where the seams are. That's what I need to say. And then I wasn't quite happy with that, so I took a small paintbrush and I'm just using that to go more right over the where that seam is. And then it was a little too thick, so I'm going to use my finger here. I think I use a baby wipe, yeah. And I just kind of smooth it in, wipe off some excess, and just kind of smooth it in until it's the way I liked it. Then I took I created this decal with my Cricut, and I printed it out on, or cut it out on Cricut vinyl, oh my goodness, stencil vinyl. And I'm going to go over the words and the berries with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson, and then I'm using Folk Arts Antique Green to go over the green leaves. And then after it's all dry, which I will be done here in just a moment, there we go, I pull off the vinyl. I do dry it before I pull off the vinyl, because I have found in the past when I've pulled off the vinyl before it was dry, it would pull up the paint underneath it. So like the white paint, it would pull that up. And this, when I let it dry, I think it releases, when I use my heat gun, it releases some of that stickiness of the vinyl, and so it doesn't pull up so much paint. Anyways, I'm going to just take some twine here. I put tape on the ends of it, and I'm going to thread it through the hanger holes and tie some knots on the back once I got the length that I wanted. I'm going to take these greenery pieces. They came from a candle wreath from Hobby Lobby. Many of you have heard me say I love going after Christmas when it's 75 or 90% off and buying these candle wreaths, because I love to use them for my greenery pieces. I glued them all the way around each corner of my sign. I'm going to add some pine cones and some little red berries. And then I'm going to take my Snow Tex and I'm going to cover it all with my Snow Tex. And I love this sign. I think I'm going to put it up in my living room this year. But anyways, there it is. It is so rustic. I love it. I hope you do too. Let me know in the comment box below.
Well, here we are. We only have a few more videos left of October, and then we are headed into November. Oh my goodness, where does time go, right? I know I've been saying that all year long, but let me tell you, it's going by fast, and I cannot believe it. In one more month, and then we're gonna be switching over to winter crafts, or maybe, I don't know. Let me know. I know most crafters in December start switching over to winter crafts. But let me know if you want me to continue maybe the first couple of weeks with Christmas crafts. A lot of people say we're done making our Christmas crafts. Maybe Christmas gift ideas. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to get some ideas. Christmas gift ideas can be kind of hard because there's such a range of things, and a lot of times you see the same old thing, baskets and stuff like that, and I want to do different things. So let me know what you would like to see in December. If you'd still like me to do more Christmas for the first couple of weeks, or if you'd like something like gift ideas or ornaments, or I don't know, or just winter. If you want me to just do winter, I can do that too. Or if you want me to do regular DIYs, I can do that too. Just let me know. But anyways, I always like to stop in and thank all my viewers, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I am so honored that you stop by and watch my videos whenever you do. And for those of you who are new here, my name is Brenda, by the way, and this is my Oliver, and we are glad you are here too. And if you enjoyed today's video, and if you like home decor on a budget, I would love it if you'd become part of our YouTube family by hitting that red subscribe button before you go. And then make sure you comment, like, hype, and share this video with someone you might think might enjoy it. It would mean the world to me. So with all of that, let's get to crafting. Now, let's continue on with the video.
Okay, DIY number 2. So I'm going to take one of these mason jars from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the twine around the top. I'm going to remove the metal leaf and metal trim on the top. And then I'm going to remove the paper. Now, if you don't want to go through removing the paper, you could always use the back side and maybe even make this a two-sided sign. Leave that stuff on one side and do the back side with what I'm going to do. But for me, I like to have a finished project, so I usually take off all the paper. And once I had the top layers all scraped off, I'm going to take my water, I'm going to spritz that paper, that white paper, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to take my paint scraper and scrape it right off. And normally it comes off really well, but there's a lot of residue on that one. I had to use some Goo Gone to get it all off. Then I'm going to paint it with Waverly Chalk paint in the color plaster. I'm going to paint both sides. And then I received these from Martha this summer. She sent me a box of fun stuff. And look how cute all of these were. I had a hard time deciding which one to use. And I remember I used one in July for Christmas in July, but I wanted to use another one. And so I was going through all of these trying to figure out which one I was going to use, and I end up using this one. It says Country Christmas because I was just feeling kind of that country rustic farmhouse feel. And I should have brought this down just a little bit more. It says Country Christmas Wishes because my bow kind of covers up the country part, but it's okay. It's still okay. So I just laid it down and I rubbed it just a little bit, and then I'm going to remove. Now the transfer sheet on this is really kind of sticky. It does end up pulling up some of my paint, but I'm not worried about it because I want this to look rustic. So I was fine with that. Then after I had that removed, I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax and I'm going to distress the edges. Now, if you're not into distressing, you don't have to do this part if you recreate it, but I love distressing. I love rustic. That's why it's called Rustic and Lace. I love lacy stuff too, but I really don't do a lot of lacy stuff, do I? And then I'm just gonna go all the way around and distress the whole thing, and then I will distress a little bit on the inside, just taking what was left over on my brush. I know it's hard to see, but up close you can see it better. Then after that, I'm going to take some twine and I'm going to just hot glue it in the back, and then I'm going to wrap that top. Instead of adding that metal piece back on, I decided I'm going to really make this rustic. I'm going to just add twine. But you know what I end up doing, you really don't see the twine because I fill it up with greenery. And that's the other thing this year I'm noticing. I am loving using pine cones and berries and greenery on everything, and I hope you guys aren't tired of it, but I just love it. To me, that's just, I don't know, I just love it. Anyways, once I got to that top area where it was curving upward, I used some hot glue to hold that twine in place because I knew if I didn't, it would just start pulling upward or off of it. So I'm just trying to get it all into that hot glue as I come around for the last time. And then I'm just going to cut it off and put that last piece right there. Then I'm going to use my lighter to fuzz off or get all the fuzzies off of the twine. And then I'm going to use hot glue again to glue my greenery pieces in place. The littler green ones there, the prickly looking ones, those came from Amazon. And then the other ones are from Hobby Lobby. And I got this velvet ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just doing my awareness ribbon bow, scrunching it up in the middle, tying some twine around it and to hold it in place, and I tie a knot. And then I'm just going to trim that off, and I'm going to dovetail the ends. You just fold it in half and cut at an angle, and then I'm going to hot glue that sorry guys, right to the middle there. Then I'm going to add some pine cones. I told you guys I'm really into pine cones and stuff this year. And I'm going to add 3 just to kind of help cover that twine. And then I'm going to add some berries. Now, these are some berries I had in my stash. They came from Dollar Tree a long time ago. I had a couple, so I thought I'll use those. And there it is. I love it. It's just a fun little shelf sitter that you could just put next to something. And I love it. Okay, it is a time for a celebration of your recreations. And oh, look at all of these that Tam has made. Oh, that gingerbread one I just adore, but they are all wonderful, Tam. They're so cute. Thank you so much for sharing those. And then Renee, this lights up. I didn't have the picture of the lit one, but I just think it is so adorable. Great job, Renee. And then Rebecca, she has been busy. Oh my goodness, look at her little gazebo things with the little gingerbread people and the little mice. Oh my gosh, those are just adorable. Thank you, ladies. And if you have a creation or some kind of creation or recreation you would like me to showcase for you, send pictures to that email address there or send them to me through Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Okay, DIY number 3. So I'm going to take, these are 2 8x12 boards. I don't know if I got them from Temu or Amazon, but I got them last year at the end of the year before Kathy, Joe, and I went on our no spending spree that only lasted 2 months. But anyways, I'm going to connect them together using those craft sticks, and then I'm going to paint the whole thing with my Waverly chalk paint and the color ink. Now, I originally planned on just using one of those. I was going to do something completely different. And then when I was thinking these are 8x12s, I realized that means they are 12 by 16 if you have 2 together. And I had a rub-on transfer from Essential Stencils from last year that I never got to use because I didn't have something big enough because it's 12 by 16. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can use it. So I totally changed my plans. Once my paint was dry here, I'm adding my school glue. And if any of you guys know how to do crackling, you know that's what we're doing. But I'm adding my just regular old school glue all over. Now, when you do this, you don't want it to be super thick, but you don't want it to be super thin either. Then I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and the color plaster. And when you add the paint, the glue is still wet. And you don't want to go back and forth on your strokes. One stroke down. Try not to, every once in a while I kind of have to go over it one more time, but try to only go over it a minimum amount of times for this to work. As you can see, I'm just kind of going over each area, trying to just do it once. That way it will work. I've done it before where I had way too much paint on it and it didn't work. I had it where I had way too much glue on it and it didn't work. And then I had it where I didn't have enough glue on it and it didn't work. So it is just finding that balance. So once I had that painted, I just started using my heat gun. Now, if you don't have a heat gun, you can just let it sit and it will start crackling as it dries. But this just helps speeds it up. And I just love watching it crackle. It's just so much fun to just watch it, and it came out beautifully. I was very happy with the crackle this time. Then here is that rub-on transfer. It is just so cute, and it's kind of vintagey, kind of country-ish. I loved it. So I'm going to just lay it in place, and then I'm going to, once I had it where I wanted it, I'm going to take my little scraper. I'm just going to start rubbing. Now, I have to admit, I did have to rub this a lot. And that is kind of standard for their rub-on transfers. You do have to rub them a lot, but they are beautiful. They always have beautiful transfers. So I'm just rubbing, and I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just saying I love using their rub-on transfers. I'm going to just continue rubbing and pulling up that transfer tape. And basically, when I stop rubbing, I start pulling. If I see any of it coming up, I lay it back down and rub some more. And I do that the whole step all the way down. And you'll see me stop here, I think, again. Yeah, a little bit was coming up, so I just rub it. And then you can pull that transfer tape right off. Once you get it all on there. And oh, it's so adorable. So then I took these bamboo sticks. I get them from Amazon. You get a zillion of them. They last me forever. And I'm just measuring them, and then I'm cutting them down with my miter shears. I'm sorry, this is not in frame. And then once I had all 4 pieces cut down to size, I painted them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. Once those were all dry, I'm just going to take my Titebond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue here. I'm going to just put it all along the back of each one, and then I'm going to glue them in place. I did use the Dollar Tree little clips, clamps, I don't know what they call them, to hold them in place for about 5 minutes until that glue is really set well. And then I can continue on, but I'm just going to continue, I guess, doing the last one here. And look at that snowman. Isn't he just the cutest? Oh, I just love it. Anyways, I'm so glad. And I don't know if they have this one this year, if they're going to have it. I don't think they have it right now, unfortunately. But you could still recreate this with any kind of rub-on transfer or picture that you might like. Napkin, anything. You could still do the crackle effect behind it. So I'm just taking some twine here. I'm just tying knots on the end, stapling it in for a hanger, and there it is. Oh my goodness. I thought about putting greenery around it, but I just felt it was too busy for that, and I just love it the way it is. Okay, DIY number 4, our final DIY for the day. So I took some cardboard here. I took a piece of paper. I folded the paper in half lengthwise, and I did a half of a triangle and then opened it up and cut it out so I'd have even ends. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been even, for me at least. And I'm just using this, and I'm tracing out 3 triangles on my cardboard, and then I'm taking my finger knife here, and you can take a box cutter or a razor blade, whatever, just make sure it's very sharp, and I'm just going to cut those triangles out. And make sure you have something underneath you so you don't cut your table, or in my case, my mat. Because yes, I have done that before. I have a few little teeny slits in my mat. So once I have this done, I think I do need a new blade on mine. I just have to remember where I put them. Oh my goodness. I'm going to glue some green yarn. You could use twine or yarn, macrame cord, whatever you have. And I'm just going to put just a bead of hot glue on the bottom, on the front and the back, just so that first strand stays put. And then I'm going to just start wrapping it. And I just wrap it, and then I kind of push it down to make sure it's staying close, tight together. You could paint the cardboard if you don't want to worry about it that much. But it still works out just fine. So once I got to the end here, I'm going to put I kind of wrapped it a little too much there. I should have put the glue on a little sooner, but I'm just going to add some hot glue and then just finish wrapping it and then cut it off. And then the next one, I'm going to do the same exact thing, but I'm just going to use some twine. Now, if you have thicker twine, that might be better, but this is what I had. And yeah, it doesn't take that long. And then the third one, I did about third of the way up with twine, and then I'm going to do about another third with my green yarn, and I'm just going to continue wrapping it, and then I'm going to finish it off using twine. So, and this is how I did the top part. I just add a little glue and then kept wrapping until I got to the end. That very tip part makes it a little challenging. Once I was done, I took my Fix-All glue and hot glue, and I have these rusted stars that I got a couple of years ago. I got it for Christmas in July and never used them, and then I can never find them, and I finally found a few. So I glued it to the top, and then I cut off some of these little pip berries from, I think these are from Hobby Lobby. Either Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree, I don't remember. And I'm going to glue them all onto that one tree there. I'm going to take this tree, I'm going to take these white little snowflakes that I got from Amazon. You could get some of those if you wanted. They're in my Amazon store, I think. Or you could use stickers or whatever you have on hand. Even little white pearls or beads would be pretty. And then I'm going to take these paper poinsettias from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to add them to the next one. And then I took some skewers. Now I'm going to just poke it right through the bottom of those trees. Now I wish I would have used something a little thicker than those skewers because they are very thin and wobbly, and I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't, apparently. But anyways, I have these little wood pieces from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add my Titebond glue and hot glue. I'm going to glue 2 of them together so that I have 3. But I end up in the long run gluing a second piece to those other 2 as well. So then I measured the trees. I measured the lengths of these skewers. One was 6 inches, one was 5 inches, and one was 4 inches. And then I'm going to just cut them down to those sizes. And then I'm going to take my drill here that my husband got me a couple years ago for Christmas, and I love it. And I drilled some holes, and then I'm going to add a little wood glue and stick my trees inside of those. And then I'm going to just dress up the bottom of those, or the top of the little wood pieces. I'm just going to take this garland tie from Hobby Lobby and cut some pieces down. This one I'm going to cut a couple more down and add to it just because it's a little wider wood piece than the other 2. And then after that, I'm just going to add a pine cone and some berries. I told you guys I'm really into pine cones and berries and greenery this year. Just about everything I'm adding pine cones and greenery. Anyways, I'm going to, and berries, don't forget the berries. Once I was done doing that, I'm going to do a 3-loop finger bow. I'm going to wrap my fingers 3 times. I'm going to cut a long tail, and then I'm going to take that tail, I'm going to come up and go through those 2 fingers, come up around those strands, and go through that little loop that I just made, and then pull really, really tightly. And then I'm going to trim off the tails there, and I'm going to hot glue it to the bottom of my tree. And I did that on each of those trees, and there they are. I love how these came out. They're so cute. I hope you enjoyed this one too. Let me know in the comment box below, and the final reveal is coming right up. So make sure you guys, before you go, you like and comment and hype and share this video if you know someone who might like it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go. It's free to you and it means the world to me. So with all of that, you guys, I will be back again on Sunday for the What Would You Make challenge already. Oh my goodness. So stay tuned for that. With all of that, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.